We'll recite a memory verse, John chapter 10, verse 9. I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. Let's say that one more time. John chapter 10, verse 9. I am the door. If anyone enters through me, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. I wanted to share a few things that I was reminded by through this verse, things that we are very well aware of, but really helped me to reconsider and rethink about what this verse means for me. The first thing is when Jesus says, I am the door. And I can, from this, I get that the reason for why I am here primarily is because Jesus died for me on the cross. That is why I can stand before him forgiven and justified. That is why I can be a member of this church, a member of God's church, and be part of his flock. We see that Jesus here is the door who lets us in. Several times I can tempt myself or allow the thoughts to come in where I think that I'm part of God's flock because of something I did or something that I am doing, because of my devotion or my dedication or my sacrifices, and that is why I'm part of this flock. But this verse reminds us there's only one door, and that is Jesus. He is the only door, and so I need to repent of those thoughts and put them aside and remember that Jesus is the only door through which I can be part of his flock. There's nothing that I can do that allows me to be part of his body. For those who have been to our midweek groups, you may remember the basic Christian teaching part 6 that we listened to this past week, where we heard about what Jesus did on the cross for us and why he had to die on the cross for us, because even my good deeds are filthy rags before the Lord. So no matter what service I do at church, no matter how devoted I am, means nothing when it comes to my standing before the Lord. And that is why he had to come down and die for me on the cross, a helpless and lost sheep. And so I'm thankful for that reminder that he alone is the door, because if I allow the thoughts of self to prop up, where I think that I am here because of myself and things that I'm doing, Jesus says that these are thieves, these are thoughts that steal from me. The second thing that I see from this verse is that the more I fellowship with Jesus, the more I can be refreshed. Psalm 23 verse 2 says, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. And every time I am discouraged and exhausted spiritually, I can just go to the Lord and meditate on his goodness towards me and his promises for my life, and they refresh me. This has happened time and time again. And I want that to be a continual reality of my life. But not only does he refresh me, he gives me words of refreshment for others. And so we have the opportunity to encourage other people from the pastures that the Lord leads us to. And so every time I feel dry, I have nothing to share, again, I can go to the Lord for refreshment. He not only refreshes me through his promises, but he gives me words of encouragement for others around me as well. And the last thing I want to share is that I can get caught up by the pastures, and I can think about when I'm in the flock. With the flock, I can think that my goal is to get the pastures, to get this encouraging word, or be refreshed myself. But I want my life to be transformed to be where I am in the flock, just happy to be with the Good Shepherd, and choose to make him happy. And his face is more important to me. As a young, immature sheep, I'm often satisfied with these pastures. I'm satisfied with victories over sin, with the blessing that I receive from the Lord. But I want to grow little by little to know the shepherd more. I want to grow to go from just grazing on the grass to gazing at the Lord. And as we know the verse in 2 Corinthians 3, it says, as I gaze on him, as I look to him, I will become more like him. And the next verse in our memory, after our memory verse, in verse 10, John 10:10, says that he will give us life and life in abundance. So the more I gaze at him, the more I enjoy him, the more I am happy to be with him. He has promised to give me life in abundance, and I want to have that faith that he will do that and make this life a reality in me.